After winning the Super Bowl with the New York Giants, Michael Strahan retired as one of the greatest defensive players to ever play the game. But when all is said and done, he may end up being remembered more for his career after football.
When you said black person, Mark, every black person went, what?
So what gave this Hall of Fame tough guy the stamina to tackle both personal and professional controversy? On his way to breaking big several times over and becoming one of the most widely recognized faces on television.
And good morning, America. A lot of news to get to this morning.
What makes people successful? What are the unexpected turns in life that propel people to greatness? I'm Carlos Watson, editor of OZY. I'm out to uncover the real secrets behind breaking big.
Funding for Breaking Big provided in part by the Ford Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, and by contributions to this PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Michael Strahan for enshrinement into the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Thank you. Thank you. I am an absolutely improbable Hall of Famer. I'm an improbable football player because I didn't grow up saying I'm going to do this. I'm the youngest of 6. I'm the one that gets beat up. My dad said, you know what? Start working out with me. We go to the gym. And I didn't want to be there. And my dad looked at me and said, son, one day it'll pay off. And Dad, I got to say, it paid off. Anybody who thinks that we're up here because of ourselves, we're fooling ourselves. This is about family. This is about teammates. This is about everybody pitching in to make you better.
How you doing? Good to see you.
How you doing?
I was interested to hear you didn't grow up in the States.
No, I grew up in Germany, really, yeah. Since I was 9 years old, in Mannheim. My dad was a paratrooper, 82nd Airborne Division, master jumper. He was a commander of the first CEC, Combat Equipment Company in Germany. And my dad's a natural leader. He's not a guy who wants to sit back and not have an input.
And now, did you enjoy military culture?
Loved it. We were on base for 4 years, and my dad retired. And then after he retired, we moved off base for 15 years.
We've known each other over 20 years. I know his parents very well. We actually spend a lot of Thanksgiving holidays together. And they are two of the kindest, most grounded people, but also they are hilarious. And his mom runs the show, although his dad thinks he does. He's got the best of both of their personalities because they're honest, they're kind, they're giving, but they also don't take anybody's crap.
So was anyone in the family a good football player, or were you the first person to really?
No, I was the first one. My dad was bad. If you talk to him, he's gonna tell you something different. So, but my mom was a track star. My mom was a basketball star. My mom coached my brother Victor and I in basketball in Germany, and we would win the championship. My mom was a really, really good athlete. And my dad was a boxer, so it kind of a good blend.
Do you think she was more important in your athletic development than he was?
I think everybody had an influence in different ways. My brothers motivated me by calling me Bob when I was 13.
Which he was all excited about because he was getting to play with his brothers and their friends, and he's, tagging along. And then his brother's friend said, you know why we call you Bob? And he was just thinking it'd be like some cool nickname. And they said, it's because your booty's on your back. You can get your wallet by reaching over your back because your booty's so big.
I like it.
Yeah, well, I didn't like it at 13. I was crying, man.
Okay.
His dad said, start working out if you're so unhappy. And if you stick with it and you have discipline and drive, then I'll let you come to the gym with me.
We go to the gym, we write down how much we lifted, these reps, this weight. He'd wake up at 5 in the morning, 4:30. let's go running every morning. And we'd hit that trail. As I got older and stronger, I would finish and be waiting at the car for him for 10 minutes or so, 15 minutes. And I look back now and I think that helped me years later in football. That gave me a work ethic I still have to this day and I'll never lose. And it gave me a great relationship with my dad.
What may seem like luck to some people, if you scratch the surface, it's incredibly diligent, hard work. All the things that we're seeing are just this culmination of years of hard work.
After being instilled with confidence and a strong work ethic from his parents, Michael was sent to Houston, Texas, to live with his uncle and play football for his senior year of high school.
Talk to me about why you think you became good at football. Was it simply hard work, or did you have natural skill?
When I came from Germany to Houston for 1 year high school, I didn't know what I was doing. And I'm not saying I was the biggest, fastest, strongest, smartest, bravest, but I think just a little combination of all of those things, enough to make myself pretty good at it.
Fast forward in college, that time at Texas Southern may not have been like someone's time at the University of Miami.
Yeah, I don't think I would have survived in another environment. I mean, it was the perfect environment for me. The coaches and the school were phenomenal for me, and they took care of me. And thank goodness I could figure it out, and Texas Southern at least gave me that avenue for them to see that there was some potential there, that I could be a football player. You know, now I think it's so immediate. You don't figure it out now, we'll see you later.
Let's be honest, he went to TSU. TSU is not a powerhouse in football. It is not a pipeline to make it to the NFL. If you are good enough and you work hard enough, no matter where you come from as far as the school, you can make it at that level. He's a great example of that.
You talked about the fact that you found the right situation that allowed you at Texas Southern to come into your own and do what you had to do. You talked about your willingness to learn, that desire. What else that you think has contributed?
Believe in yourself. Once I turned 16 and going into my senior year, my dad said, you're going to Houston, you're gonna get a scholarship. Then when I did it, he said, when you go to college, you're going to be an All-American. When you go to the pros, it was always when. My dad never said if.
In 1993, at the age of 22, Michael was drafted into the National Football League by the New York Giants. And in his rookie year, he would study under one of the game's most prolific players ever.
When he was drafted to the Giants, Lawrence Taylor was there. You essentially are out for Lawrence Taylor's job. So you had to fill some very big shoes and prove yourself.
When I played with him, what I learned, he would go 100 miles per hour every time he was on the field. And I said, wow, this guy is doing it. He's the best, greatest ever defensive player, in my opinion. That's how he is the greatest, because he works at it. So important to me at that first year to see how a real pro performed.
Even though you were a second-round draft pick, first couple years you didn't really stand out.
Yeah, I had to figure it out.
Were you worried at any point?
Heck, I was worried about that until like year 12. But yeah, of course, I think you're a young player, you're full of so much insecurity and doubt. And that's what I learned, that we doubt ourselves more than anybody else ever will.
He's always been that outsider. I mean, he was, first of all, he grew up in a foreign country, so he was an outlier already. And when he got back here and he went to college, he was in a small school. Like, I think he thrived off of that doubt and that skepticism.
It was a learning process of living in New York City, a learning process of being a young man with some money, a learning process of life outside of just a game of playing. But once I figured out everything else around it, then I was able to be on that field and feel confident.
He broke out like his third or fourth year. He had released the shadow of LT and had become of his own, and the team was his at that point.
I got 60 guys in that locker room, and I have to make every guy, no matter what your background is, no matter what you're going through in your life, I gotta make us all believe in one singular goal for that day, right now, and that is to be the best. And then understand each guy enough to how to get and pull it out of them was something I enjoyed the most. I would touch every player, and I would handshake every coach, every equipment manager, every doctor, everybody. And it was my way of saying to them, you know what, you're a part of this and I'm accountable to you today. What I do on this field is accountable to you.
Over the next decade, Michael Strahan became a local sports hero and earned a reputation as one of the toughest and smartest defensive ends in the game. But in 2006, injury and a crumbling personal life would sideline that acclaim.
He's going through a really tough divorce, and now he is at rock bottom.
I'm on the front cover of the paper for getting a messy divorce, but then I'm on the back cover of the same paper as a sports hero.
The true character of man comes out when times are tough. And that's when I learned a lot about that guy.
There was a lot of self-control, a lot of growth, a lot of learning.
He was resilient, he was contemplative, and I think that when he cocooned and found himself figuring things out, he emerged from that cocoon just a brand new guy. Sometimes you have to fall in order to get up higher.
By 2008, Michael had regrouped, and he'd get one more shot at glory.
17-14, fellas. One touchdown, we are world champions.
Well, sets in the pocket, and he's sacked by Michael Strahan. That is it. The New York Giants have knocked off the New England Patriots.
Shortly after that historic Super Bowl victory, Michael announced that he was retiring from football.
When I left football, I did not cry at my press conference. I was happy. 15 years, I'm done. No more getting beat up. No more stress of this.
He went out the way most athletes dream of, winning a Super Bowl. He retires a couple weeks later. He goes out on top.
That moment after the Super Bowl, when he became the face of that story, was really a great opportunity to leverage his familiarity with American audiences across the television spectrum.
So why did you turn on the television?
It just happened. I remember the first thing I was invited to do was the local Fox station here in New York said, Michael, would you like to go to the Sports Illustrated swimsuit party? I mean, come on, of course I'll go. I'm there for like 45 minutes, just like, oh, this is great. They hand me a microphone and they go, we need you to interview the ladies. Oh, it was the worst interviews ever. I think they only talked to me out of sympathy. That was so bad. But it ended up being one of the scariest things I've ever done, but also liberating.
Michael started preparing for life after football without really knowing what a big career he was going to have. Even during the season, a lot of people don't know this about him. Once a week, he'd go to a local studio in New York City and he would satellite into the Best Damn Sports Show on Fox.
You guys look great in your costumes, man. Happy Halloween, you all. Feel you actually look better.
He wasn't getting paid for that. He didn't need to do that, but that's how he was practicing his reps.
TV career or a villa at the beach?
TV career, be more interesting.
You gotta fill the gap in, though.
Yeah, no, I wouldn't.
He would go work all the Super Bowls for Fox at the time, so he actually had his NFL on Fox contract done, I think 2 or 3 years before he even retired, because they also saw something in him, I think, that the world now gets to see.
I think this suit suits me just fine.
Capitalizing on his championship persona, Michael became a regular on the leading game day program, Fox NFL Sunday.
Michael Strahan,
Thank you.
recently retired from the New York
Hold
Giants.
your applause. We added some looks to the show now. Thank you.
Oh, please.
And when Michael showcased his boundless talents, the world noticed.
You use that emotion for next season by saying, okay, if we go out here and work as hard, possibly, guys, we can be that team. Remember the feeling of walking off that field, the confetti's falling, and it's for somebody else. Those are what they're going to have to face for the entire offseason.
It's a really competitive field for athletes walking off the field into broadcasting. You have to have the personality, you have to have that work ethic.
You have to come across as being credible. You have to be conversational. I mean, these are real skill sets.
Despite being such a huge star, he's the guy interviewing, means placing your ego aside because you're throwing the shine on someone else. The star on that other side of the camera feel like all the attention is on them, and that's a different type of gift.
Thank you very much.
He had so much potential and the it factor, and one day he went and filled in for Regis. Regis was on vacation. And when he was done, I go, that's it. He's like, what do you mean? I go, that's what you're doing.
In November 2011, iconic talk show host Regis Philbin announced his retirement. And shortly thereafter, the network introduced their brand new morning show, Live with Kelly and Michael. Overnight, Michael Strahan was introduced to the world outside of football. So only one question remained: would audiences accept him?
When I read that he was doing the Kelly and Michael show, I was like, wait, Michael Strahan? This was the complete opposite of what anyone would have predicted.
Very difficult for people to accept that here's a guy who crushed bodies for a living, who could transition into television and be just as successful. That's intimidating for others, and it's hard to accept.
Here you are, 6'5", 200 pounds plus. You ever worry about the intimidation factor?
Of course, absolutely.
So what do you do with that?
If I'm not trying to intimidate you and I'm scaring you, then that's more your problem, not mine. I have nothing I can do with that. But I've been in situations where I realize if I'm in a discussion and I stand up, it's a totally different discussion. And all of a sudden I'm aggressive and hostile, but I realize people don't understand that. So it made me realize how to act in situations where I realize it's very easy for somebody to feel like they're being intimidated.
Michael's very presence as a black man, as a strong, solid, virile black man says a lot. White women are waking up every morning. One of the first things they see is this big black man. So I think the fact that he's been able to succeed says a lot of great things about Strahan's ability to know what works and what doesn't.
Over the next 4 years, Michael and Kelly received back-to-back daytime Emmys and made Live a ratings juggernaut. And then, banking on Michael's talents, executives at ABC made the bold decision to move him to the network's flagship show, Good Morning America.
Our good friend Michael Strahan is joining us full-time here at Good Morning America. I love Amy's hashtag. 2 days was just not enough.
Yeah. Depending on who you ask.
Though it was another huge career move, poor communication about the announcement had left Kelly feeling slighted and left many pointing the finger at Michael.
How tough was that really?
I mean, it's not easy being criticized. It's not easy being painted sometimes as a villain.
Michael's career as an athlete definitely trained him to deal with the media. If you think about what he went through as an athlete in New York City, the fans love you when you're winning and the loudest boos when you're losing.
I've seen both sides. I've realized you don't get too high, you don't get too low. And that's how I took that. It was like, you know what? I'm on to something that is great for my career, something that I was asked to do by the bosses at Disney and at ABC, and I'm happy I did. Morning. It's a great show. I'm on a great team. Every day is interesting. Every day I'm learning something from some brilliant people. And who could turn down that opportunity? And I'm glad I took advantage of it.
He's eager to learn. Even though he's learning, he's bringing something to the table. He's contributing while he's learning at the same time. He is the real deal.
To go to Good Morning America makes really good business sense. To become not just a friendly and affable presence, but also one whom we trust to tell us what's going on in the world, to deliver the news of the day. It's a really savvy move on his part to really open up his own brand and his sense as a media property and made himself ultimately much more valuable.
Despite his wall-to-wall schedule with Fox NFL and Good Morning America, Michael continues to expand his brand, evolving as both a producer and as a businessman.
When you think about it, are you a good business person?
I think so.
And why?
Have a great partner. That's the first thing. Have a great partner, but somebody who just doesn't exactly think the same way you do. Someone who you can bounce ideas off, but yet you can come to a resolution. And someone who has the same vision of where you want to go as well.
One of the main reasons that we work so well together is we both are self-made. It's more than the drive, it's more than the rehearsals, it's more than the perseverance. It's an innate talent to not just seek out the right people, but the right businesses and not be afraid to fall on your face.
We have a management company. We manage Tony Gonzalez and Deion Sanders, Wiz Khalifa, Aaron Andrews. So some great names out there who do great work, and the production company has been phenomenal. I mean, we produced a $100,000 pyramid.
Welcome back to the $100,000 pyramid where Camille...
We just finished 26 episodes, and this guy was doing 2 hours of GMA every day, going to work out, and then coming and knocking out Pyramid as if it was the only thing he had going on that day.
You should have saw that table behind you. They turned around and...
Take that and apply it to all the other facets of his career.
As a partner of his, he was always trying to put me in a position to succeed and be at my best. And I think that probably comes out of his sports career. He recognizes that, he understands the function of a team, and that's how you ultimately win it all.
It's winning for the people around him. It's teamwork, and it starts from the top.
I have 4 basic rules for successful businesses. The first one is focus. Creative people being able to extend themselves, whether that's themselves as brand or their own talent, into different areas. Studio personality business into the clothing business. If you look at it as those individual businesses and you want to be successful in those businesses, you need to focus. And I think that's much of what is the core secret for the success he's had.
Takes on every project, researches it, learns. Does he have to be at every meeting with our design team for his clothing line? Of course not, but he is.
You're busy enough. I mean, GMA, you're doing football, you got lots of things going on, so why did you decide to start a fashion business?
Think about it, between GMA, between Fox NFL Sunday, between the $100,000 pyramid, I'm in a suit 6 days a week. So it's organic to the life that I live, and it's something that I love because growing up in sports, you have to make sure your suit game is right.
Okay.
They're gonna talk about you. And my suit game was not always right, I'm gonna be honest with you.
I was gonna say, coming as a rookie.
I had purple suit. I look like Skittles, man. Okay. It was not good.
Right.
And a lot of times they come in this form, so they'll come on.
Why do you think you've had as much success where lots of guys who wanted to do it didn't end up making the full transition? What would you tell me?
For a lot of people, they put that pressure on themselves to be perfect and to come across polished straight out the gate. But when you do that and then it doesn't work out, how do you adapt to that? If you look at something that's perfect, it's probably not too interesting. You want to see something with some flaws. You want something that's relatable. And I feel like in that sense, I'm maybe relatable to people.
We were walking down the street and we saw some construction workers. And these guys were like, "Number 92 forever, we love you, Strahan," stuff like that. Then we got into the elevator and coming up and there were these young women. All they wanted to know is like, what is Kelly like in real life? And we went and we sat down and these old women came up to us and were like, "We love you on Good Morning America." And I was like, "Michael, man, you like touch every demographic." He has that ability with whatever audience he's around.
I'm myself, and I think that that is the difference for me and maybe some other people, that I've never had to get on TV and look at what somebody else has done and say, well, I gotta sit up a little bit straighter and I have to talk perfectly. I don't have to do that. Hey, good morning, man. I think that it puts people at ease. And for me, I'm able to go on TV and be myself. I'm able to look like this because it is me. The one thing I think that I realize and I do every day, the only thing I can control is my attitude. I never wanted to be the guy who walks in a room and people go, "Oh boy, here he comes." That's not a good feeling.
He greets you every morning with a kiss. I thought, at first, okay, it's the first week. Every single day, he greets me with a kiss, and every woman here shakes every man's hand every single day.
Good morning, ladies. You want the feeling of knowing that when you walk in a room, you bring value, you bring joy, you bring the best out of people.
Michael Strahan has applied the knowledge and work ethic he learned as a child to every single aspect of his professional career. They impact his attitude and relationships and have become as integral to his various endeavors as the man himself.
What else might I not immediately recognize contributed to you breaking big?
Believe in yourself. And if you see where you want to go and you truly believe you're going to get there, all those little steps in between seem minuscule. When you look back, you go, "Well, it really wasn't that hard at all that I'm here." I do that every day.
Stray's family is the ultimate key to his success. He gets his motivation from his family. He gives credit to his mother and father and his siblings all the time.
I've been predisposed in a lot of ways to always think when. I never say, well, if that happened. No. that means I'm doubting, and I don't doubt.
Where does this story go next?
I mean, I love my clothing business. I love having our management company. I love having our production company. I don't think I want to be on TV forever. For a lot of people, this is a lifetime thing. For me, it's like, I proved I can do it. Let's figure out something else that people think I can't do and see if I can do that too. I always say the curse of a kid with a big space in your teeth is like a curse because of all the jokes. But now that curse is a gift. My friend always says, how do you have a job talking on TV when you can't say the letter S? And I'm like,
I like
You're
that.
right.
I like that.
Funding for Breaking Big provided in part by the Ford Foundation, the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, Infor, and by contributions to this PBS station from viewers like you. Thank you.